You deserve to rest. Resting is your birthright, and resting is not something that you have to earn. So the only question you need to ask yourself is, you are going to achieve your goals anyway, but do you want to get there calmly, peacefully, elegantly, or do you want to get there overwhelmed, stressed, and not even have the ability to appreciate what you have achieved? Hello guys, welcome back to my show Get Real with Jasmine. I know my hair looks very terrible today, but it's a podcast, so it's a message that matter. Just close your eyes. And also, if you're watching this right now, just let you guys know that this can be found on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. So, especially if you're watching this episode, you're probably all about productivity. So, yeah, you don't need to just sit there and watch me talk. You can listen to it on Spotify, whatever. So, today we're going to talk about resting. And more specifically, why do we struggle so much to rest? And I think which is a bit ironic because I actually filmed a video a few weeks ago about if you're lazy but ambitious. And at that time, I really thought that I was lazy because I wasn't doing anything. Little did I know that I was actually very burnt out and I was constantly tired and I don't have motivations to do anything. And a few weeks ago when I was leaving the office and I feel like I was going to pass out. And my first reaction was, wow, that means I'm doing great. That means I work very, very hard. Good job. Because that was a feeling that I was very, very used to when I was working on my previous job. Like a lot of times I would feel like I'm going to pass out. But like after I started this self-love journey, I actually never felt that way. So when I noticed that I was praising myself, good job for burning out, I'm like, this is not normal. So I told myself like, this is not normal. This is not a healthy mentality, and we don't do that anymore. We don't do this toxic self-talk anymore. And I think I mentioned this before as well, that I always struggle to rest. But today I really want to dig a little bit deeper to why do we struggle to rest? Where does this feeling come from? And if you are like me, I think you will relate so much to my story. And I think today's episode is really going to help you to understand why you are constantly doing something, why you are so restless. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. And before we go ahead, throw away your ego. Throw away your ego, because if you don't throw away your ego, you're going to keep justifying why you don't rest. That was me. Like over the years, I always have people telling me to rest, but I never want to listen to it because in my head, I'm always justifying why I shouldn't rest. So if you really want to understand what I'm going to talk about today, you have to throw away all your shitty reasons for yourself, or it's not going to help you. Now, first of all, let's talk about why do we feel restless? Where does this feeling of restlessness come from? So let's have a look at our lives, okay? Monday to Friday, you're at work, very tired. Or if you're a student studying, anyway, Monday to Friday, we're very tired and we can't wait for the weekend to come for us to do nothing, right? So if that's really the case, how come when the weekend comes, we feel restless? If this is something that you're looking forward to so much, how come when it finally comes to this time, this vacation for you, you actually don't feel good about it? You don't feel comfortable. Because the problem is our body and our brain is in survival mode all the time. We are so used to being in survival mode. We are so used to constantly chasing something or being chased by something. Either it's money, success, exam, your project, your manager, whatever. We always being chased by something. So what happened is when it's finally time for you to rest, or when you try to rest, your brain and your body doesn't feel comfortable because this is not what they are used to. They are used to chaos. They are used to problems. This resting, they don't like it. They don't feel comfortable. So your brain starts to signaling you to do something. And this is where this feeling of restlessness come from. And so what happened next is your brain is going to start looking for problems because that's what they are used to. But because there's literally no problems for them to solve here. Because it's your vacation, it's your weekend. You're supposed to have fun. You're supposed to just enjoy it. There shouldn't be any problem. So what does your brain do? It starts look for problems within yourself, which they are definitely going to find one, because we human beings, we are not perfect. There's always going to be some problems for us to fix. And so now your brain is going to find problems within yourself. Either it's, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not skinny enough, I don't have enough money, I don't have a good enough job, I'm not smart enough. It's going to find a problem, or problems plural. So now suddenly there's so many problems for you to solve here. Now you feel like, okay, I need to work harder to solve the problem. I shouldn't rest. And what's worse is that you are not just not allowing yourself to rest. Now you feel guilty to rest, because in your head, you're thinking, there are so many problems for me to solve here. How do I deserve to rest? I don't deserve it. And so now you start to stop letting yourself to do all the things that you used to enjoy. Anything. Either it's dating, going out with friends, cooking, basketball, anything that you enjoy. Anything. You stop letting yourself to do those things because you feel guilty about having fun. And this goes on for years and years and years. Now, back to our weekends. Why do you have nothing to do? Because you spend your whole life chasing for something, and you are already so disconnected with yourself. You never let yourself to do something that you genuinely enjoy. It was always about success. It was always about money. It was always about something tangible. So then now you have nothing to do. Then your brain starts signaling you again to work harder and harder and harder, on and repeat. And I think I just explained your whole life, right? And by the way, that's my whole life too. So starting from the mid of last year, my life became super hectic. I was moving from one country to another, and then another, and then starting a new job at the same time. And I was constantly in survival mode, which for a great reason, because I have to work, or I'm not gonna know where I'm going to sleep tomorrow. I don't have a place. I don't know where I'm gonna eat. And so like everything was so hectic, and I was so used to that. Then when I finally settled down, which is probably the beginning of this year, when everything is okay, my brain and my body is not used to it. They're used to being chased by something all the time. So now they were signaling me that they are feeling uncomfortable. It was constantly telling me to do something. And I know something was wrong, but I didn't want to face it. I know that whenever at the end of the weekend, I was always feeling very frustrated, very like off. And I didn't feel good about it. But in my head, I didn't want to really face that feeling, because for me, it's always easier to tell myself that you are lazy instead of tell myself that you deserve to rest, because that's what you're used to. And it wasn't until a few weeks ago that I realized this, that it was my body and my brain telling me that they are not comfortable because they're used to survival mode. And so I guess the question really to be asked here is, why do we have to be in survival mode? Do we really have to be in survival mode? Because we are safe. We are safe. You have a job to go to, don't you? You have food on the table to eat, don't you? You have a roof to sleep under, don't you? So we don't have to be in survival mode. But we are so used to being in that. That's probably the life that we know. For our whole life, we're being told that just keep going. Just keep going. That's the right way to live life. And so we have to dig a little bit deeper here. My whole life, I always feel like I need to earn love and I need to earn rest. The way that we grow up is always like you study very hard, for example, for a midterm exam, and after that midterm exam is over, then you rest for a weekend, and then you prepare for the next test. It was always like that. So I grew up feeling like this is so normal. You are supposed to achieve something. You're supposed to finish something first in order to earn rest. But the problem is, and the question is, what exactly do you have to achieve in order to earn that? Is it $1 million? Is it a job? Is it buying a house? Is it retirement? What do you have to achieve? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Because if you are like me, if you're struggling to rest, ask yourself that question. What exactly do I have to achieve in life in order to earn that rest? Because for me, it used to be getting accepted by my dream university, and then it's getting an internship, and then it's getting a job, and then it's getting my dream job, and then now I have my dream job. It's about getting a promotion. So where's the end of this? And that's when I realized, shit, there's no end of this. This is a crazy cycle that we lived in, and we're not even aware of it. And so, like a few weeks ago, when I finally paused and have a good look at my life, that's when I realized I'm literally living a life right now that probably 6 months ago I wouldn't even dare to dream about it. But still, it wasn't enough for me to rest. I was still looking for something else to achieve. And that's when I realized I would never feel like I deserve to rest as long as I keep thinking that rest is something that I need to earn. And you can question me, well, but you got the life that you want. That's why you're talking about resting right now. But I think it's exactly the opposite, because I got the life I want. And so now I look back all those moments and I'm like, so why did I spend so much time worrying about it? Why did I spend so much time stuck in my room being so unhappy instead of allowing myself to go out there, have fun with my friends? And interesting enough, I got the life I wanted when I was resting, when I was calm, when I wasn't stressed. The time that I was the most stressed, the time that I was the most burnt out, in the most unhealthy mentality, I didn't get anything out of that. I didn't get anything, literally anything. I was miserable. So this comes back to what we mentioned a few times here. You have goals in your life, goals, plural, right? And you're going to achieve it. This is without question. You are going to achieve it. If you have a vision for yourself, you are going to achieve it. And the universe is going to help you. But you don't get to decide the timing. The universe does. The universe can see when you are ready, and then you will have the blessings. So you being so burned out, not allowing you to rest, you rushing so much, it's not going to help you to get there faster because you don't decide the timing. So the only question you need to ask yourself is, you are going to achieve your goals anyway, but do you want to get there calmly, peacefully, elegantly, or do you want to get there overwhelmed, stressed, and not even have the ability to appreciate what you have achieved? Because the thing is, when you are constantly thinking about the next goal you want to achieve, you're not present. So even if you achieve those goals, you're still looking for the next one, and you're not enjoying the trophy. So have a look around your life right now. How many things you have right now is something that you once dreamed of? Either it's your partner, either it's the job you have right now, either it's the country that you're living in right now, either it's the person that you have become right now. How many things that you have is ones you only dreamed of? And then you will see you actually achieve a lot already, honey. You don't need to achieve something else in order to deserve resting. That's my point. So I was on the phone with my friend the other day, and this is a friend that has very similar personality as me. Both struggling to rest, both an overachiever, and we both agree that this book, Don't Eat the Marshmallow Yet, this book fucked up our life. So for those who never heard of this book, this is a book, so basically Stanford University, they conducted a marshmallow experiment. What they did is that they gathered a group of 4-year-old children, and they gave all these children one marshmallow. And then they told these children that if you wait another 15 minutes, you can get the second marshmallow, or you can eat the marshmallow right now. Up to you. So later on, these researchers, they follow up these kids' performance later on in their life, and they found out that the kids that decided to wait for another 15 minutes in order to get the second marshmallow, they did better in life in general later on in their adult life. Like, they're more successful, and they went to like a better university, I think, and they have a better job, and they control their emotions better. So this book is basically about delayed gratification. And I didn't read this book when I was a kid, but I remember, because I was very young. I think this book has a long history. But anyway, I do remember that when I was a kid, my parents, they sat me and my younger brother down, and they basically told us that I am definitely the kind of kid that will wait for 15 minutes in order to get the second marshmallow. And my younger brother, is definitely the kid that is going to eat the marshmallow instantly. And I was praised for that as a kid. They were telling me that I did a great job. So as a kid, that kind of become a part of my identity, because we always want our parents' approval and recognition. So my whole life, that I was really just thinking like, don't eat that marshmallow. But the problem with this book is they didn't tell us when to eat that marshmallow, as if the right way to win this life is to not eat the marshmallow at all. And that becomes my whole mentality. That's how I grow up. I was thinking that just don't eat the marshmallow. And eventually I lost the appetite to eat the marshmallow. If someone ever placed a marshmallow in front of me, my first instinct would be just set that marshmallow aside and wait for another one. Until to the point that I don't have the ability to enjoy the marshmallow anymore. And to the point that the marshmallow has gone bad, has rotten, and I'm still not eating it. And so it comes to a point that it almost feels wrong to eat the marshmallow. And okay, I'm gonna drop the metaphor right now, okay? Stop the marshmallow. But my point is, back to my conversation with my friend. She said something that blew my mind. She said, like, this is to the point that we are not just delaying gratification anymore. We are denying gratification. And I'm like, that's so true. That's so true. We just never eat that marshmallow. They didn't tell us when to eat, so we thought, like, probably it's just wrong to eat it. And that's why we feel guilty about eating the marshmallow. That's why we feel guilty about enjoying our lives, because society emphasizes hard work. They emphasize discipline, and just work harder today and you can enjoy later on in life. But when is that later on in life? Is it when you're 65 years old? When you're retired? When exactly that is? And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that it's like you should eat the marshmallow right away, because I still think that we should maintain a certain level of discipline. I think that's important too. But I'm also saying that you also need to learn how to eat the marshmallow. You also need to learn when is the time to eat the marshmallow, because the thing is, sorry, I said I'm gonna drop the metaphor, but but I cannot. The problem is you cannot take these marshmallows with you when you leave this world. So I really think that it's important for us to understand, to learn when to eat the marshmallow. You have to eat that marshmallow, or life is all for nothing. If you cannot take all those marshmallow with you, and then you are also not enjoying, so what is all these hard work about? What is all these hustling about? What is all these delaying gratification about? It's all for nothing. And I remember also the same friend told me that life is a marathon, and you will have different goals in your life, which you are all going to achieve it. But how are you going to achieve it if you are already burned out in the process? Okay, so now let's talk about the actions that we can take. What I have been doing in the past few weeks, okay? When I finally allowed myself to rest. So when I think about the word rest before, I will always think about a long weekend in Malibu. Is that Malibu? Something like that. Or, something fancy, something big. I always think about like a vacation, a long weekend. But that's really not resting is about. Resting is something that you have to do every day. Why? Because every day you go out there, go to work, go to college, whatever, it takes energy. It it's tiring. So you have to rest in order to charge your battery and in order to fight another war tomorrow. So resting is something that you can do every single day. Not you can do, you have to do every single day. Even it's just 10 minutes aside, that's what you have to do. And so what I've been doing in the past few weeks, one thing that's so important is every day when I got home, I would sit on my couch and not do anything. No phone, no music, nothing. And I'll just sit there and breathe. And I would really focus on my breathing. And there's a lot of like breath work exercise that you can look for on YouTube. It's really helpful. Just sit there and breathe for 10 minutes. And I think it really allows me to be more present. And also be careful, guys. When I thought about resting before, I think about lying on my couch, lying on the bed, and do nothing the whole day. But I never feel rested by doing that. Why? Because when I'm lying on the couch, my brain is still active. My brain is still signaling me to do something. And I feel shit. Because my body is signaling me, you're tired, you have to rest. My brain is telling me that you have to do something, do something, do something. What do? Like we said in the beginning, you shoot it back to yourself. Now you start feeling shitty. So be aware that if you genuinely feel good about after like lying on the couch the whole day, and feel free to do it. It's okay. But I'm also saying like be more aware. What exactly are you feeling when you're doing all those activities? I never feel good about just lying on the couch and not do anything. That's why like I start to let myself explore more different activities, whether it's writing poetry and drawing, just anything that makes my brain feel rested. Because when you're doing something else, your brain is shifting attention to something else. So the signal is not going to shoot it back to yourself. You shoot it to drawing, shoot it to whatever activities that you're doing. So I think it's really helpful. And like journaling, meditation, and also like going out with your friends. But really like pay attention to how exactly are you feeling doing all those things afterwards. Because for us introvert, I never feel rested when I'm out with my friends. I feel tired. But for extroverts, maybe that's the right way. That's the best way for them to rest. So like I said, what is good for someone else might not be good for you. So throw away your ego and just genuinely pay attention to what you're feeling, because that's valid, and that's the most important thing. And you know what? After I allowed myself to rest for a couple of weeks, my creativity flowed like crazy. I have so many things to write about all the time, and that's when I feel more happy, feel more energetic, filming my podcast again. So I think, yes, a lot of times we think like by pushing harder, by working long hours every day, we can do more things. Maybe in some way that's true, but you sacrifice the quality. Either it's your job, either it's a project that you're doing, either it's the content that you're creating. You're going to sacrifice that. So yeah, by resting, you get to be more productive. And also something huge that I'm learning is resting is also productive. So have that in your mind. You deserve to rest right now. You deserve to rest. Resting is your birthright, and resting is not something that you have to earn. And last, I just want to say that over the years, I always have people around me saying that you should rest. It's just that simple. Like, it's not normal for you to work such a long hour, and it's just not normal, and you have to rest. And in my head, I'm like, I know, but I don't know how to. And I didn't want to face that part of me. I know it's not normal, and I know that I cannot keep driving 180 all the time. but in my head it's scary to stop. And so I think it's so easy for us to look at other people's life, or opposite, to for other people to look at our lives and say things like, you need to rest, you need to love yourself more, you need to be more confident. You think they don't know that? You think we don't know that? We know that, but we don't know how to. I think the truth is we all know that we need to rest, but we don't know how to. It's like, you cannot just go to someone that is so burned out and tell her that, you need to rest. You think she doesn't know that? You think she would be burnt out if she knows how to rest at the first place? So I think the point is, I can sit here and talk for 2 hours the importance of resting, the benefit of resting, and you still not going to rest because deep down you don't think you deserve it. Deep down you still think that you have to earn it. And so I think it's important that we heal that part of ourselves first in order to talk more about how to rest properly, what should we do to rest, how to maximize the benefit when you rest. And yeah, so I hope today's episode helped you to understand more about where is this feeling coming from, and how to solve it, and why you deserve to rest. You don't have to earn it. Like, resting is your birthright. You don't have to earn it. And life is hard enough. Make it more enjoyable for yourself. And yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, listening to this podcast. And by the way, if you like this podcast, just like it on my YouTube and leave a 5-star review. That would really help me a lot. So thank you. And I will see you guys next time. Bye now.